Alright guys, today I'm going to review and ride this Coleman CT200U-EX. The EX is this camouflage model you see here. The frame is different than the standard CT200U. It's got more of a, I don't know, I guess you could call it a motorcycle look. By the way, if you want to check out the Mustang, you can just go to the Mustang playlist on the channel. I'll have all the videos of that car on there if you want to see that. But this is about the Coleman. So again, it's the Coleman CT200U-EX, 196cc engine. She weighs 134 pounds according to Coleman's website, with a 200-pound occupant capacity. It basically can haul around a 200-pound person. I'm not sure if those are outdated stats or not, because on their website it says 87 octane gas and up, whereas in my manual I received with this it says 90 octane and up, which is, I actually have 91 in it because I've never seen 90. But anyways, so based off of that might be outdated, because also I believe the manual on this one and the other one I got, they both say the load capacity is 220 pounds. So somewhere between 200 and 220 depending on which year you got. And this one is brand new. It's it should be a 2020 model. I bought it just last month. Oh, there we go. If I can see that. Build dates on that tag there under the seat. It says 7/21/2020 is what it looks like. So yeah, it's a 2020 model, but the information that came with this says to run 90 octane or higher and a 220 pound capacity, whereas their website says 200 pound capacity and 87 octane. So take that for what you will. Anyways, it's a 196cc engine, 6.5 horse. It's centrifugal clutch under here, chain drive. Choke and fuel on off is located here. This one's clearly labeled, so it doesn't take much explanation there. Rear brake only, as with all mini bikes. Here's your quick kill switch. That's on, that's kill. Twist throttle, of course. These ones actually have a headlight that runs continuously from the moment you start it. Pull start, of course, to start the engine. And also, unlike the CT200U and CT100U, these actually have a front suspension. There is no rear suspension, but they do have a front suspension, which makes them a lot softer to ride around over the bumps and such. The BT models have this as well, but the CTs do not. So that's a nice added feature there. By the way, if you want to check out the other ones I got 3 in total, the CT100U and the BT200X in orange. You can just check out the Minibike playlist on the channel, and I have the whole list of them in there if you don't want to scroll through all the videos. So if you want to see the others, make sure you check out the Minibike playlist. So then you also got this little cargo thing here. It looks like a gas tank, but it's not. It's plastic, unfortunately. Your fenders are metal, but this is plastic. So you pull a little tab here to pop it up, and it's just basically a storage compartment for whatever you would want to put in there. I gotta say, I'm a little concerned about this braking, especially if you open and close it much in cold weather. With it being plastic, it would be brittle. So far I've opened and closed it several times, no issues, but I would say that eventually I could probably see that breaking, especially if you lay it down on a rock or something like that. So drum brake rear, and that's pretty much about all there is to say. This one's off from the get-go. It's more comfortable to ride than the BT series or the CT series of the same size. It's got a lower seat height, and it's just got more of a little laid-back, relaxed seating position and whatnot. I prefer this initially, but on a long ride, I'm actually more comfortable on the CT and the BT series than I am on this. But when you first hop on it, this one's a lot more comfortable. So it depends on how long you're going to be riding. Might be personal preference as well. So anyways, we'll get it fired up here and get some video of it riding around and such. This is still completely stock. It still has the governor in it, still has the throttle stop screw. I'm going to be modifying all that later, but as for doing a review video, I wanted to leave it completely stock. So upcoming videos will definitely be removing the throttle stop screw on all of them, and removing or bypassing the governor as well. I got motor swaps planned in the future. I'm going to modify the engines that are in them and whatnot. So if you don't want to miss any of that, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell and click all, and you'll receive notifications when I post. Alright, so we get it fired up here. We need to make sure that the kill switch is off and fuel's on, choke's on to start it, and then once it fires up you can flip the choke off. And oddly, for some reason, even once it's warmed up, you go to restart it, at least in my experience, I got to flip the choke back on, start it, and then immediately flip it back off. Alright, so I'm going to do some acceleration runs here, and with this thing being completely stock with the throttle stop screw still in place and with the governor in place, it actually tops out before I even get to that pole, probably a few feet before, because these only do about 20 miles an hour as they come. But we'll do some rips here and do some rips in the grass, which will slow it down. As I said, I'm reaching top speed even just in the driveway, but I'll go down the road real quick to show you that as well. But this is the same thing we did with the CT200U, if you caught that video. So you can see how much of a difference this is, how much quicker it gets there with my big butt on there compared to that little one that's way too small for me. There we go. Oh man, it's really sketchy trying to do wheelies on those because they don't really have enough power, so you gotta yank up so high, and then once it goes up, then it wants to go back on you. Alright, now we're gonna do some runs in the yard. And the grass slows it down a little bit, ground's soft and whatnot, so it takes a little more power to get going. That was extremely evident with the CT100 because that thing just doesn't want to move in the grass. It won't affect this one too much, but we'll do some grass pulls here too. Alright, so unlike the CT100, since this thing actually has enough power to actually move me around alright, I'm actually we'll do some more riding. I plan on having like a little track and whatnot in the yard, especially for when I go to modify them, so we can compare like how much faster it is and whatnot. So do a little more riding around other than just doing pulls now. Alright, so as you can see, that's all it does on the road there. Like I said, we're topping out in the driveway in the yard, easy. But yeah, it only does like 19-20 as is, so you gotta remove the throttle stop to go faster, and you can remove the governor as well. As I said, we'll get into that later in future videos. I'm gonna try to drive around with you guys on here. I do have a GoPro that I could strap on my head and all that, but it'd take a lot for me to dig it out, charge it up, and find everything right now. So I'll try this for now. In the future, I'll strap the GoPro to myself. See if I can do this. Woo. I can't hit the brake. Oh, shit. I definitely need GoPro because I can't zoom out far enough to get you guys back here where I am. Oh. He can't see nothing. Alright, so hopefully you could hear it in the video. I did bottom out those shocks a few times when I would hit this going pretty much full speed as it currently is at about 19-20 miles an hour. With me on there being about 220 right now, bottomed out the front forks. Also when I did a wheelie and it came down, it bottomed out the front forks. So, you know, it's not a dirt bike, it's not a serious off-road machine, but just for the sake of mentioning it. Also, I noticed that that's some pretty tacky stuff, and it's a little slippery right now. The rear tire seems to clean out okay because you're spinning it. That's your drive tire. The front one here is definitely packing up. So maybe if I had the governor and the throttle stuff off of here to where I could go faster, maybe then it would fling it out, but as is, it's not. So one other thing about these, not very good at hill climbing. Once you get going, they're all right as long as the hill's not too steep. You also have a low oil sensor in there that if you go up too steep of a hill, even if you add enough power to do so, the engine will shut off on you. So if you're gonna give it enough power so you can climb any serious hills, then you'll have to remove that oil sensor just so it doesn't shut off on you going up big hills. That also causes, sometimes when you go over a lot of rough bumps, it can cause the engine to spit and sputter, which I haven't experienced out here. I think maybe once or twice. When I hit a big bump, it'll cut out for literally like a millisecond and come right back on, but that could be an issue too. But anyways, I'm going to display the hill climbing ability here. Like I said, this hill isn't too steep. Like even if it was continued, you could probably climb that if you're under 200 pounds. Probably. Not 100%. And I'll do more testing with these later with steeper hills and whatnot. But from a start, if you're trying to start on something that steep, it's not going to go. You can improve that by doing the torque converter pulley system, CVT drive, whatever you want to call it, where instead of the centrifugal clutch, it's a belt and pulley system. It gives it a lot more torque, so you have more off the line power. I'm probably going to be doing that to at least one of these in the future, but those aren't very good for wet and muddy conditions, because as soon as that pulley gets wet or that belt gets wet, it just slips like crazy and you can't go anywhere and you'll smoke the belt. So it's a lot better for performance as long as you keep it dry, but it has its pros and cons. So when I install one of those, we'll do the comparison, show you how much better it takes off and how much better it climbs the hill from the start. But for now, I'm just going to show you what this thing does straight out of the box. It's not really gonna, it's not gonna want to take off on that. And this should go without saying, but this will be full throttle. Alright, so that's about it, guys. So as you can see there, you cannot climb a very steep hill from the get-go. I believe with a torque converter and a stock motor, you would be able to go up that no problem. But like I said, I'm going to be doing that in the future. We'll be putting a pulley system on it, torque converter, CVT, whatever you want to call it. Plans to modify them stage 1, stage 2, etc., motor swaps and whatnot. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you hit the bell and click all, and you'll receive notifications when I post. One last thing I wanted to add, guys, you probably could notice in the video that the brakes tend to be squeaky at times. There is a brake pad upgrade you can do to eliminate that squealing sound, which I fully intend to do because it's annoying the crap out of me. So that'll definitely be a near future video where we'll upgrade the brake pads on these things so that they don't squeal. So up next will be the BT200X, and it's the XO because it's orange. Don't ask me, I don't name them. Anyways, I'll be showing that one next. And if you want to see what you missed, go check out the Minibike playlist on the channel. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the next one.